It's been a great day. Good times for everybody. I wanted to share with you how I got this nickname, the Wave Whisperer. It was almost like a joke at first because every time I showed up at the beach, it happened more in Texas, I want to say, than it did on the East Coast. But every time I'd show up at the beach, somehow the waves would either get better or they'd get bigger when I showed up and got in the water. And it just happens so many times, over and over and over again. I even got to look forward to myself getting into the water, saying, "Boy, I sure hope it picks up." But it was crazy. It just weird coincidence. I mean, it could be just that I know the best times there is to go surfing. That definitely helps. Um, but there's one story that I can't explain. This one time that I have amazed myself, and I'll share that story with you now. Back in about 2009, 2010, I had a roommate named Mike, and Mike and I surfed together. And we also liked to play musical instruments together. So, anyway, we had a party at my house, and everybody stayed really late and everything. And as the party ended, I told Mike, "Hey, let's go sleep on the beach, and then wake up in the morning and we'll play our drums and go surfing if there's any waves." We weren't expecting any waves, but we just took two surfboards with us just in case. Anyway, I want to get a little closer to this mic. So we drove from Pearland. I was staying in Pearland, the farthest I've ever lived from the beach. But we drove from Pearland down to Surfside. And when we got to Surfside, it was like a lake. I mean, it was flat as can be. I mean, there were no waves whatsoever. Not even this much of a wave. It was just super small, and very calm and serene. And we drive up on the beach, and there's these fishermen that are wade fishing. They were spread out pretty evenly, about maybe 100 yards between every wade fisherman. So we didn't want to disturb the fishermen, so we drove down the beach a little bit till we found a spot between fishermen that we wouldn't disturb anybody. And we parked the van and fell asleep and woke up in the morning, and it was still just this serene, calm, peaceful day. Not a day for surfing, not at all. But we got the drums out and we started playing the drums and having a good time playing the drums. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this pod of dolphins, porpoises, I guess. I'm not sure which ones they were, but they were, the porpoise, and they swam up to us, kind of, not really close to us in the water, but they were swimming right in front of us. So I said, "Mike, hey, let's get our surfboards out and go swim with the dolphins and play with the dolphins." So we did. We grabbed our boards and we paddled out, and not too evasively, but and not too aggressively, but we just kind of hung out with them, and I would tap my board and knock on my board and like some sort of rhythm so that the fish actually knew that there was another presence in the water with them. Anyhow, so we're sitting there playing with the dolphins, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes a wave, and not a big wave, but it was about a thigh-high wave, 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot, and we turned and we rode the wave, and next thing you know, there's more waves behind it. So we paddled back out and we rode these waves, these like knee-high to thigh-high waves. They were just big enough to ride, just big enough to have fun on. We rode them for about 30, 45 minutes, and then I got tired and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to shore." Mike followed me to shore, and when we got to the beach, I turned around and looked, and the waves were gone. I mean, it was flat like an ocean again. And I said, "Hey, Mike, where'd the waves go?" He looked at me with this astonished look on his face, like, I don't know, man. That's very mysterious. But things like this have been happening to me basically my whole surfing career. We got down to Mexico, and I'm telling around a campfire. Mexico that day was anywhere from 2 to 3 foot overhead to double overhead. So there was nice big waves, and we surfed all day and all night down in a private beach. I won't mention the name because the Hispanics get a little mad when you mention the name. But this private beach, and we built a campfire, and we were all sitting around. And me and a couple other fellows I met that were staying close to me in the little cottages. But anyway, I started telling them the story about me being the wave whisperer, and they kind of laughed at it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it sounds funny, right? And I said, everywhere I go, the waves seem to keep getting bigger and bigger. And they had a good laugh that night. But the joke was on them, because the next day when we woke up, it was so big that they called the Porto Escondido contest on. And I mean, it was so big and crazy where we were, you couldn't even paddle out into it. It would be death on a stick just paddling out there. Even if you could catch one of those 30-foot waves, it would just eat you up. There was no riding; they weren't even rideable waves. So we had one day there where the waves weren't rideable. But I saw those guys, and I'm like, I told you, I see what happens when you mess with the wave whisperer. So yeah, that's the story of how I got this name, and how I mean it's kind of a joke, but yet it's mysterious. It's one of those things in life that they say that every awakened person has a gift. You're given a gift by God when you become awakened. And I guess one of my gifts was basically to have an effect on the ocean. Um, of course, now I'm spending a little bit of time going up to Waco at Waco Surf, and riding the man generated waves. And pretty much there, you're guaranteed to have a certain size of wave, and that's pretty cool too. So I guess before I go, I wanted to share a small Sufi story. And this Sufi story is pretty potent if you understand the meaning behind it. Anyway, there was this famous mystic a long time ago, and the king of the kingdom that the mystic was from had heard great stories about this mystic, and he went to meet him, and he took his family, his wife, and his entourage with him. Kings usually travel with entourages, and he met the mystic, and he was so bewildered by him, and so taken back by him. But he felt that the mystic was maybe too powerful for the public to consume, because maybe he was jealous, and maybe thought he had more power than the king himself. So the king decided to lock the mystic up in this tower. And the tower had a window on it, and it was about 300 feet up in the air, and just one window, big enough for the mystic to look out and look down, but it was certain death to the mystic if he tried to jump. But before the king could lock up the mystic in the tower, the mystic whispered something into the queen's ear. And what he did was he whispered something very secret to her. And that night, the queen found this special insect, kind of like a spider insect. And what happened was the insect left a silver, almost not a cord, but a thin, very thin, fine silver twine, and spun its way up all the way up the tower, from the ground all the way up to the window. and the mystic got a hold of this fine silver cord, and then the queen tied on a thread to the silver cord, and then the mystic pulled up the thread, which was a little bit stronger than the silver cord. And this went on a little bit, and it's almost like, I guess the next one in size was like a fishing line, a very fine fishing line. They pulled from the twine, this stronger fishing line, and eventually they pulled up a rope with something strong enough to pull the rope up with, but they had to work their way up to get to that rope. The rope just wasn't just given. The queen couldn't just throw a rope up to the mystic, because that would be impossible. Nobody can throw 300 feet high. But a mystic will always find a way. A mystic will make things happen very mysteriously. Anyway, the moral of the story is that there are a lot of things in life that we do, like surfing, skydiving, snowboarding, skateboarding, all these things. And even listening to music can be a thread, a small, fine silver thread to get you out of your prison that you're in. And the prison that you're in is basically this essence where you feel separate from your maker. You feel separate from all of existence. And all you need to get started is a little thread. And music can be that thread. Surfing can be that thread. All these things can help get you reassociated with your creator, with your maker. I thought that was a pretty cool story to share, and I hope you guys liked it. And yep, so I'm the Wave Whisperer for now on this channel till we change my name to something else. Who knows, maybe one of you guys will change it for me one day and come up with a better nickname. But for now, this one will do. And my real name is Douglas Grummins, and it's glad to meet you guys and girls and they and them and everyone in between. So excited to be here, and I guess we'll look forward to doing a live session with my friend Rick Harper as soon as he can find time. He's quite busy with a young baby and a new family that he's taking care of and everything. So, but it'll be exciting times when he and I get together and get to discuss some cool spiritual stories like the one I just shared. So anyway, I guess I'll end it with that and say goodbye and aloha and namaste and blue skies to all you beautiful people out there. Much love, and take care of yourselves, and send me a like or a comment or something if you guys like this this stream or not. We're going live on several platforms, and I'm just testing everything out and make sure everything's working before we really get rolling on it. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.